When I was a kid, I had the misfortune of growing in a socialist country. And I remember quite vividly that at kindergarten, we used to create these Romanian flags out of Legos, and we would talk about the great dear leader and his accomplishments. I was 3. The reason I remember this is because it's so different than everything else I was doing at that age. Like at that age, I was playing with other kids, I was going into the park, I was playing with kittens. But it was like that specific thing when I was at kindergarten. I remember that I hated it. I hated it because it was about sitting around and just talking about things that I genuinely didn't even understand what the fuck they were talking about. And they tried to make it more presentable for children, right? Like the great dear leader had these mystical powers that he would go into a village and listen to the problems of the villagers and all of a sudden make everything fine. He would go into this factory that was collapsing and he would give like a few words of advice and all of a sudden they lifted the factory back up and it was producing better than ever. That type of shit. I was 3. I didn't care. And I see that in America they're doing the same, right? Like you have a child that's at kindergarten, like what do you want to talk to him about? You want to talk to him about racismus, and transmophobismus, and sexismus, and teach him the LGBTQs, and it's like, interesting, in China, they try to teach kids how to memorize things. Like I actually saw this on China TikTok. They would have a person that comes up with 10 pictures, like bird, cat, ball, and then they ask the child to tell the pictures in reverse. I mean, that's the kind of things that they focus there. But in America, it's the LGBTQIA pluses. It's really interesting. Again, Germany, 5 seats for nuclear fusion, over 140 seats for gender studies. They're both universities. They're both like the higher knowledge, right? You need to get a student debt in order to go there. I mean, you are educated, whether you take nuclear fusion or gender studies, it's the same thing, right? So apparently, woke kindergarten contract in East Bay School was terminated after national backlash. The anti-racist consulting firm, Woke Kindergarten, is this their actual fucking... No way. I thought that people were dubbing it Woke Kindergarten, but this is actually their name. Interesting. They will no longer train teachers in East Bay Elementary School. And by the way, this is very interesting because I remember fact checkers will always saying it's like there is no such thing as woke programs in kindergartens. And I was always saying it's like, yeah, sure, imagine if you have like teachers that are trained Nazis. Like they have to read Mein Kampf, they have to, understand what's there, and you're indoctrinating them into the ideology. And then they teach children, right? And when someone is saying it's like they're teaching Nazism in kindergarten, you'd say, well, no, they're not, because like there is no curriculum for that. It's like, yeah, it's true, but like the teachers, they're indoctrinated into that way of thinking. They view the world through that lens. Do you not think it affects their teaching material, right? I mean, the same people, the same liberals, they freak out when a teacher says like a South Park edgy joke on Twitter. And they're like, well, if he has that mentality at home, how can I be sure that he has not the same mentality amongst our children, so he needs to be fired? But when it's about like woke teachers and stuff, it's like, man. So apparently, Hayward Unified officials said that the controversy was becoming a distraction. With threatening and racist phone calls and emails, Glassbook Elementary and the district office, they initially terminated the contract. Is it wise to tell the public that threatening and racist phone calls and emails work? This is from the San Francisco Chronicle. Like, journalists, why are you incentivizing? It's not cool. You're basically telling all of the internet trolls, it's like, hey, threatening and racist phone calls have done the job. You shouldn't mention this. Official also placed on leave a teacher who criticized the program. See, this is what I hate about wokeness. It's not necessarily their ideology, but it's the fact that it can't withstand any type of criticism. Like the moment someone complains, the moment someone says that they disagree, you're placed on leave. And they don't explain the reasoning either. It's like the terms of service on social media. Like your account was terminated for violating of TOS. What did I do? What did I violate? You know what you did. You can file an appeal. But like for what? You did? No. You know what she did. And a school board member is facing formal investigation as well as public outrage over offensive comments he made to a staff member related to the district's contract with woke kindergarten. The furor came after the Chronicle published a story earlier this month about the school's contract with the for-profit woke kindergarten, which trains teachers to confront white supremacy, disrupt racism and oppression, and remove the barriers from learning. At the kindergarten level. At the kindergarten level, okay? Like, do you understand how nonsensical this is? And it's funny that they have studies about racist babies. Did you guys know those studies? They were everywhere in the media. Oh my god, the media was so happy with those studies. Holy shit. Those studies are based on, like, basic human nature, right? Like, babies are afraid of strangers. Like, anything that doesn't resemble their parents. Even within the same ethnicity, the same race, hell, even within the same family. Like if grandma never came to visit for the first year of the baby's life, when grandma comes to visit, the baby is going to be scared shitless of her. It's normal, right? But what they did is like they showed that, oh look, if you take this white baby and you put a black person next to it, he's scared. He's scared of everyone. They didn't do the experiment in reverse. They didn't have like black babies and put a white person next to it, because like the answer would have been the same, right? Like it's a natural preservation instinct, and it exists in all mammals, that when you are a kid and you're exposed to strangers, it's scary, right? It's normal. Is that not a racist baby? But they use those studies in order to now justify this woke kindergarten bullshit so that they can make money off of it. Officials also cited concerns over publicly posted videos from the woke kindergarten founder, Aki Gross, which included anti-Israel and anti-United States messages. I'm surprised that they only discovered that this particular leftist group has the same. Like this is the definition of woke ideology. It separates people based on identity politics. It assigns race, gender, sexual orientation to politics. And on top of that, it says that the nation state is evil. Like, all the woke ideologies do this. And they're surprised. It's like, well... And by the way, I like the fact that if you say it's anti-United States, it doesn't sound as bad as when you say anti-Israel. Like, if it's anti-Israel, it's like, alright. But anti-United States, no. Anti-United States is like... I mean, you have free speech, right? Although we respect freedom of speech. See, there you go. And the right for individuals to hold a variety of political views, the social media and the other public statements. I don't even understand, like, why are you talking about free speech in the context of teachers? Like, when you're at the job, you don't really have free speech, right? Like, if I'm at the McDonald's and I'm the cashier, can I tell fuck you to the customer? Can I tell the customer that the food here is shit? Right? Like, when you're on the job, you sign a work contract, and during those 8 hours that you're at work, you have to follow the code of conduct of the employee. When you're at home, you can say whatever the fuck you want, but when you're at work, there is no free expression. Like, if you go to McDonald's and they tell you to put the uniform, you put the fucking uniform. Don't like it, quit. But isn't that how it works? Like, you don't have free expression. You can't go to McDonald's with a dildo on top of your head. So for some reason, I don't understand why they think teachers are different. It's like literally every single job is the same. When you're at the workplace, you have to confine to whatever the code of conduct is because you signed the contract. You got to read what it means to work there. You're informed, and if you don't like it, there's other jobs. Holy shit. So district officials defended the program, which was paid through the federal grant. I love it, right? So the federal grant, the United States is paying for this program. A program which says that the United States is evil. You know, does that make any sense? I mean, it is evil because they're paying for the program. And not only that, right? Like, look at this. Wherever wokeness comes, disaster is soon to follow. Glassbrook's test scores plummeted to new lows last spring. 2 years into the woke kindergarten training, with fewer than 8% of the students proficient in English and just under 4% proficient in math, 2/3 of the students are English learners and more than 80% are Hispanic Latino. Everything woke touches turns to shit. I'm willing to bet, no, even woke ideology turns to shit because woke touches it. Like, think about it. Like, they went from feminism to the point where they can't even define what a woman is. I'm not kidding. Video games now have body type A, body type B in order to avoid this conundrum. You can't make this shit up. Even wokeness gets turned to shit because of wokeness. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.